Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. Cavalier and Harbour are through to the semi-finals of the Jamaica Premier League after prevailing via penalties in their respective quarter-finals at Sabina Park on Thursday evening. In the early match, defending champions Cavalier beat Mount Pleasant 4-3 on penalties after playing to a 1-1 regulation and extra time draw. So the Cavalier goalkeeper, St. Lucian Vina Bartlett, there, the toast of Sabina Park at the end of that game for his heroics, saving 2 penalties to nudge his team into the semi-final. In the late match between Arnett Gardens and Harbour, that also ended 1-1 after regulation and extra time. And in the penalty shootout, Harbour's 17-year-old goalkeeper, Anthony Bennett, stole the show with his heroics to help the Stars of the East prevail 7-6. So this is Kimani Arboin skying his penalty. And yeah, the look on the face tells the story. And there's young Bennett evading teammates. And yeah, that was something. Anyway, these are the semi-final pairings, the matchups for Sunday. So Harbour will battle Waterhouse, and the Cavaliers' reward for dumping Mount Pleasant out of the tournament is a clash with the slick Dunebholden. Joining us for a preview is our football commentator, Chris Taylor. He's not here yet? All right. Lance, so, yeah, 2 penalty shootouts. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the obvious thing first.
Yeah.
Arnett Gardens are not in the semi-finals.
Well, yeah, very disappointing. Bennett, the goalkeeper for Harbour, though, very impressed with him as a teenager. Showed a lot of leadership. I saw a lot of times when they were setting up defensively, very, very vocal, very commanding, and very, very impressed with him. I didn't actually see the penalty shootouts, but I'm not surprised that he did so well given his posture. And I think it says a lot for a 17-year-old goalkeeper to be displaying that kind of confidence and assurance between the sticks.
Yep, spare a thought for the boys from Arnett Gardens, though, after the season they had when there were times when they looked the most dangerous attacking unit in the Premier League. We did say before these playoffs started that of the handful of goals, well, a little bit more than a handful, but of the goals that Waterhouse have conceded over the course of the season, Waterhouse ended with the best defensive record. They had the record for the fewest goals scored against. Arnett Gardens put 7 goals past Waterhouse in 2 games. And here it is against Harbour. They could only find 2 goals in regulation time for 108, well, not 180 minutes, 90 plus, in 240 minutes of football against Harbour. Arnett Gardens could only find 2 goals in regulation time. Yeah. And then they lost it on penalties.
And Harbour were down to 10 men for
in the second game,
very long period of the match. So that strengthens the point that you're making.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so that's what the story is where Arnett Gardens is concerned. In the other game, Cavalier and Mount Pleasant, we've been here talking about wanting Mount Pleasant to take that next step because what it would mean for the project. But they're massive, we can call it that, because they had massive support last night at Sabina Park. They're massive, left feeling disappointed again because they came up short.
Yeah, hugely disappointing for them, because this means that this is the first season that they've been playing Premier League football that they haven't actually reached to the semi-finals. They got to the semi-finals the first year that they were in, and they got to the semi-finals last year as well. The year before that, of course, COVID-19 aborted when they were second in the regular season standing. So this, in effect, has been Mount Pleasant's worst season, even though they've advanced all the way to the playoffs. And it happened at a time when I think the fans were probably more expectant than they had been in previous years.
And what is true about Mount Pleasant and the project is that since they've come to the top flight, I was just realizing that last night, they've not gone through one whole season with the same coach. meaning the coach who starts is never the one who finishes whenever the season finishes. And that can be read various ways, including one way you can read it is that the ownership want to give the boys the best chance of succeeding. So if it's going stale under a coach, they'll change and put someone else in charge. That formula hasn't quite worked just yet. All right, let's go to Chris Taylor now, our football analyst who has been working on the Premier League and who commentated on the games on Thursday at Sabina Park. Good afternoon, Chris.
Greetings, gentlemen.
Good. Chris, you look like you're already at the Football Factory waiting for SportsMax's A Liga to start.
Why not? I was hoping to see you in action.
You'll see in short order. Chris, the two games that were played both went to penalties. Let's talk about the first game first. Mount Pleasant, Cavalier.
Yeah, Cavalier, right throughout the history, as we've known, has gotten the better of Mount Pleasant. I don't think the real Mount Pleasant that we saw throughout the season totally came to the party at all. I thought the performances were flat. I thought, especially in the first leg, they paid a lot too much respect to Cavalier, and maybe the history of the matchup got the better of Nick Eden, I thought, initially. Sitting back and allowing Cavalier to come at them. Not playing their usual high-tempo football, especially with the wide areas, using Daniel Green. And Trevante Stewart had he had 2 off games in the playoffs, so that was very disappointing for them. Kudos to Cavalier. I thought they were much better in the second leg than the first leg. They had a better squad in terms of who were available. Kenroy Campbell came back in. Richard King returned from injury. Ronaldo Webster was put up front. And I thought they looked a lot better, especially going forward, a lot more enterprising. That being said, it wasn't the greatest game, and I think Dunebholden might be licking their choppers at the sides of Cavalier, based on what they would have seen in a matchup. But I think a deserved win at the end of the day, and an excellent goalkeeping performance by Vina Bartlett in the penalty shootout to carry them home, even though he didn't have such a good game in the 90 minutes.
Yeah, Rudolph Speed from Cavalier's technical director spoke ahead of the game about how this was the first time in about 3 months that he had a 20-man playing squad to choose from, and he said that with greater resources at his disposal in terms of personnel, more bodies than usual, he was very confident of plotting a way successfully past Mount Pleasant, and so it proved.
Yeah, and as I said, depth of squad was a big deal. Mount Pleasant didn't really have a lot of pace coming off of the bench. They didn't really have a lot of impetus to come off the bench in terms of moving forward. No Tyreek Zimenez, as you know, he's away on the under-20. No Devontae Campbell, who would have added wit and trickery on the right. So I thought that was a big deal for them. They played with Javon Mills in that position, who doesn't really give you the same things going forward. Mount Pleasant were way too slow. As I said, apart from Trevante Stewart not having the best 2 games, Daniel Green just couldn't really get going. I thought he was playing on the right-hand side, which is not really his strength. He's best, like Ronaldo Cephas, on the left, where he can cut in onto that amazing right foot and create damage. So, yes, he did score a goal in that, but his moments were far and few between. They played Siobhan Stewart in the attacking midfield role, and he ended up doing a lot more defending than attacking, especially in the first leg. In the second leg, a couple snippets here and there, but as I said, Mount Pleasant, the pace of their play was way too slow. If you have watched Cavalier throughout the season, they do very well when teams are slow in their attack and they are allowed to sit behind the ball and organize themselves. They get very narrow and they snuff out all of the avenues for passes. When you run at Cavalier with pace and catch them off guard, that is where they tend to make mistakes. We've seen own goals from Cavalier this season, 3 of them. So, yeah, they are a young backline, and so sometimes can panic when rushed, but Mount Pleasant just didn't have it over the 2 legs in terms of tempo.
Yeah, and Arnett Gardens, the league's great entertainers, will have to watch the semi-finals from home, Chris.
Yeah, I know it's a great disappointment for you, but as we can see, the movement of Ronaldo Cephas has caused a lot of problems. I mean, the quality of him, not only his 10 goals, but just the worry from the wide areas of his ability to get past players and not to be stopped. Getting telling balls into the box. And yes, Kimani Arboin, as we're seeing now, missed the penalty. But I think they lost it maybe long before that. Only managing, as you mentioned earlier, 2 goals in 2 legs. Unlike Arnett Gardens. We expect to see them concede, but we expect them to score more than 2 goals and create opportunities. In the first leg, they played a 4-4-2. They were way too narrow. Fabian Reed and Marlon Allen in that central role because they can't play wide, and it caused a problem. They had no squad depth in the first leg. Stevie Clark wasn't there. There was no Damari Deacon off the bench. And of course, Cephas was missing. In the second leg, Stevie Clark was there in the squad. They had Fabian Reid on the bench, and they opted to start a few other players and so on to add that. Gerald Neal came in for the Ezra Simpson, who struggled badly at right back in the first leg. They looked a lot more balanced yesterday in terms of their team. They had a bit more width with Shandy James playing the right side. But the truth is, none of them are Ronaldo Cephas. And that threat that comes in from the wide areas, which creates many opportunities for the other players, just wasn't there. They didn't look as potent. And even though they had a better second half, it was a little bit too late.
Yeah, congratulations to Harbour. Chris, we're out of time, but I'll take enough time just to ask you the semi-final matchups, Waterhouse and Harbourview and Cavalier and Dunebholden. Call those games for us.
I think Waterhouse will be too good for Harbourview. I think Waterhouse is the most efficient team in the Premiership, even though they haven't necessarily looked the most attractive at times. Best defensively, best team attacking. They find a way to get results. I think Harbourview, even though they have improved and even though they'll be coming to that game with a lot of confidence, they're 0 for 2 against Harbourview this season. Dunebholden, now that they have had rest, I think they're the most attractive team in the Premier League, how they play out of the middle, Fabian McCarthy and company. I think, beautiful football, so they're the most attractive to me. Hence why I love watching Dunebholden play. I think now with rest, that thin squad of theirs will have been able to recover. I like their chances, even though Cavalier, as I say, come in as the defending champions. They grind out results. They have a better squad now, but I'm giving Dunebholden the edge based on the rest period that they have had. And I think Atafor, Bygrave and McGregor will be hungry to score more. So I'm saying Dunebholden, Waterhouse for the final.
Hear you on that. All right, my friend. See you at A Liga not too long from now.
Looking forward.
Good. Chris Taylor there with the comments on the Jamaica Premier League. We take a break. We come back with more on the SportsMax Zone. Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay informed.